So, I know a lot of you guys are probably familiar with what's called, in quotations, the male loneliness epidemic. And you're probably pretty well versed at this point. You've probably gone down the rabbit hole and seen all sorts of videos on it. But honestly, that's just like some straight BS, bro. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's actually pretty great to be lonely in today's society. And you might be telling me maybe I'm just ungrateful because I will say, in all honesty, I really haven't had much loneliness in the terms of women, and I mean, I do have a pretty decent, great family, so I can't really say that I've been very alone in my life. And I've also had my close friends and very great best friends who I've had for a long time who support me and all that. But today I kind of want to focus more on the dating aspect and the aspect with women because it is just out of control at this point, bro. And again, you might be telling me I'm just being ungrateful or maybe I'm just some sort of woman hater. No, not at all, bro. Not at all. I have complete respect for women and I don't want to come off as misogynistic when I say this, but this is just some real stuff, some real facts that anybody could really access the information to in the facts. So I want to start off with why it's just not even worth dating these hoes anymore, bro. I just feel like nowadays there's just this standard, this horrible standard that you have to be rich, you gotta have some sort of sports car, you have to have money, which I mean, this is nothing new, bro. I'm not talking about anything new right now. This is something that's well documented and this has been going on through the history of time. And it's not even me sitting here saying, "Oh, these girls are just gold diggers." You know what I'm saying? Because that's a pretty easy subject, and I could sum that up in a 2-minute video. But it's their actions when they say that they want you to be a certain way, yet their actions do not match it. That's what we're talking about today. I mean, it is insane. These women have these crazy standards where they want you to be chiseled jaw, six pack. You have to have at least six-figure salary. You gotta have a sports car. You gotta have a giant house. And meanwhile, she has a completely different idea for herself. First off, half of you bitches are fat as fuck. So I'm just gonna get that out of the way. There's nothing wrong with being fat. I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, expecting these men to have these chiseled jaws and six packs and being gym rats and have money and all that. It's just kind of like, man, like you need to lower your standards. And then these are the same women who hate on beautiful women who have a supermodel body and everything. And it's just like, I mean, don't hate on her, bro. She hits the gym 6 times a week. Meanwhile, you're a couch potato. And all you do is hit the clubs, which is another big problem with the women of this generation. They want a man who's locked in. They want a man who isn't outside. They want to keep him in the house, but they want to go do shake that ass time on the dance floor at the local nightclub, bro. Getting drunk with some randoms that are just buying them the nastiest, cheapest liquor shots. And I don't want to say I know too much. Okay, like I'm not part of the club scene. I've never been to a club. I've never even been drunk in my life. Like I'm very like innocent in that way. But I mean, I'm gonna say that it's just shown to be the better choice, honestly, because it seems like that's all these women want to do, and they have nothing going for them. And they just want this guy who's going to be a provider. Meanwhile, they just want to use him and they want no consequences to their actions. Like, I don't want to be with some fat ass girl who goes out and just shakes ass at the club, cakes on 1,000,000 pounds of makeup, and smells like straight donkey fart and lives at her mom's house with her fucking little brother who she just babysits to get her allowance so she can go blow that on drinks the next night. Like, it's just completely elementary and juvenile to see the way that these women act. And a lot of men, a lot of you guys are feeling this alienation, bro. You're feeling this loneliness. You feel like you're not connecting with these women. But the only thing is that you're trying to connect with the wrong type of women. You're trying to connect with these girls who want to be Instagram baddies, straight wannabes, bro, but they're straight circus clowns. There's nothing that they could offer you to make your life better except for maybe some pussy, but hopefully you get drunk before you hit that, bro, because if you hit it sober, you're going to regret everything, bro. You're dead ass going to have straight up, like, post nut clarity. Like, you're gonna have a way better time just being on your own and jerking it into a tissue. I'm gonna keep it just 100% with you, bro. Like, these women just are wilding out with the standards nowadays. And I kind of blame social media, and I'm gonna explain why. Because you have these women with a following going out and telling women that they deserve this and that and they deserve better and everything. The only thing is like, bro, that hoe don't deserve shit, bro. I'm gonna keep it a fucking bean with you. She does daycare 2 days a week and has no fucking bread, and then she sits around and watches TikTok, or she goes to the club with her friends, or she's just getting high as shit or getting fried. Like, bro, that is not the type of woman that you need in your life, bro. That's what we call a bum. Straight chuz. Chud material. And I think I'm coming off a little stern in this video, but I have really just got to be honest with you guys. Like, this is really how I feel. Like, this is just me analyzing human behavior and people around me and the things that I've seen, especially coming from St. Louis, coming from a pretty decent sized city where you have a lot of hoes just wilding out. Like, this is something that I'm pretty well versed in at this point. And I think something that I really hate the most is where like girls think because they're pretty that they shouldn't have to do anything. Don't I'm not even gonna sit here and hate on the chuds anymore. I'm gonna hate on the girls who are actually pretty, right? And the girls who have that supermodel body, which not all of you are pretty. I'm gonna keep it a fat bean with you, bro. But like these girls have this sense of entitlement, bro. And I feel like most of these women in this generation do now, but now they have this entitlement where they think that because they're pretty, like, you should have to pay, bro. You should have to earn that pussy. Like, no, bro. What else do you have to offer other than your coochie, bro? Like, genuinely, if I X that out of the equation, what are you doing for me? And the answer is nothing. It's nothing. They're doing nothing for you, bro. And like, I don't want to be the guy who rains on your parade, bro. Like, I want you guys to have good, healthy relationships with these women or friends or family or whatever. But it's just getting ridiculous at this point, and I really think that there are better methods to meeting better women than these random hoes on Instagram. Don't fall victim to these thirst traps and these girls who give you just a little bit of attention just so they can use you to go get some drinks at the bar. Because bro, I've literally been with a girl like that, bro. I'll tell you guys a little story to kind of like cue you in on why I'm so like passionate about this conversation, because I literally met a girl who's the same way, bro. She just wanted me to pay for everything. She wanted to go to the club for shake your ass time and all that. She wanted to be on just some wild shit, right? When I first met her, she seemed like a good girl, bro. Like, she kept her head low. She was smart. She did all sorts of like just great things, bro. Like, I really felt like, man, like this could really be something. And then she really started to show her true colors. But I want to say that, this didn't happen until she got influenced by her hoe ass friends, her weird trifling friends who were influencing this behavior. And like, it's just, that's the bottom line there, is that like a lot of people don't start certain behaviors until they're influenced or feel some sort of peer pressure to be that way. And that just completely crumbled that relationship for me, bro. Like, I just lost all the love for her, bro. And I'm just keeping that real. And I did tell her that. I told her straight up when I left her. I was like, yo, I don't love you anymore. Like, you're different, bro. I'm different. Like, this just isn't gonna work. And you guys don't deserve somebody's spoiled ass daughter who thinks she's the shit, thinks she's a baddie, even though she's a straight 3 out of 10. You don't need her over your shoulder, just constantly just like bitching and complaining and using you, when you could have a good girl. Like, it's not over for you, bro. Like, it's not that you're better off being alone forever, but you're better off being alone right now until you find something that actually is going to work out, and you find something that's actually credible, something that'll make you happy, and just something good for you in general, bro. Because 99% of the women in this generation are just hoes. And I'm just keeping it real, bro. Like, okay, you can say what you want about men, right? I want somebody to make I want somebody to make a video about men, right? Maybe I'll make one too. But, and I mean, honestly, we already see it though. Like, you call men chuds and tell them that they're lazy, they don't grind hard enough or whatever. Like, we already know what's wrong with men, right? Or what people claim is wrong with men. But in all reality, a lot of these problems just come from the women, bro. And then they just try to push it off on men. And if you try to say anything about it, they call you a misogynist, when it's like, no, I'm not. Like, I really do respect women, bro. I got 3 sisters and a mom. Like, I have nothing but love for them. When we always grew up, where I'm from, and especially in my family, like, we grew up protecting our women, bro. We don't play about ours. But you know it's just out of control at this point. And like, when you think about it, like, back in the day, yes, that was the standard back in the 50s and 60s, whatever. It was the American dream for you to have a full-time job and take care of your 2 kids, your dog, and your wife, who's at home cooking and cleaning. The only problem is nowadays, these girls do not want to cook and clean, bro. They want to take arch pics and post it on the gram and then lay in bed all day and sleep in until 3 p.m. Like, they want somebody to take care of them, but this ain't the old days no more, bro. It's a different world. It's a different way. And like, honestly, the world, there's too much going on, bro. The economy's too bad. Like, there's so many, just a plethora of things going on right now that completely keep us away from that original American dream. Because if you want that, bro, if that's the lifestyle that you want, then I expect you to shut up, bro. I expect you to watch your mouth when you talk to me. I expect you to have my dishes clean, have my bed made up, have my laundry folded and ironed out. Like I expect you to be a good ass girl. And if you're one of those females and you're watching this right now, I just know your heart started racing. I know you got some sort of like rage inside of you because I said that to you. You know why, bro? Because you want the benefits of being a stay-at-home wife. You want the benefits of being taken care of, but you don't want to reciprocate that energy to your man. And that's why that dynamic worked, because that was the standard. And nowadays the standards have been lost to where it's like, it's fine, bro. I think that everybody should have their free will, and I don't think that women should just be kept up in the house. I don't think men should have to be the sole provider, and that's where I'm going with this. You shouldn't just expect people to take care of you, bro. Like you should be able to handle yourself, but when you just turn around and you just expect these men to take care of you, of course, like nobody's gonna want you, bro. And then you wonder why, you're 27, you're fat as shit, and nobody wants you. Like, bro, it's because what did you do for the past 9 years since you got out of high school? You didn't do shit. Just jumped baby daddy to baby daddy or apartment to apartment with whatever boyfriend you had at the time, and you didn't work, bro. Like, that's all you did. And just imagine you did that with your glory years, bro, your 20s, right? I just turned 20 last month, and I know I've said that in my past like 3 videos, but I just turned 20, and I could tell you, like, I'm not gonna waste my time doing dumb shit like that. And like, I have a good girl, bro. I have a good girlfriend, and I got very lucky. But I'll tell you guys another story, because last summer I got entangled with one of these types of girls, bro. I got entangled with some crazy hoe who just wanted me to straight up provide for her, like just do everything for her, bro. And I remember this one time in specific, bro. Like this one time, and this is when I knew, like, I just could not fuck with her anymore, bro. So one time she's in the car with me. I go to pick her up, and we're going to hang out. We're going to chill, and she gets in the car and she's like crying, and I'm like, what's wrong, bro? And she's like, oh, well, my dad won't buy me this 2024, I think it's like a 2024 Acura, right? And it was this brand new car, and it was really nice and expensive, but she was mad that he wouldn't buy it for her. But she had a job, but she only worked like 3 days a week. And I'm not gonna hate, because at least she was working, right? But it was the principle of, why are you crying about that? Because your daddy wouldn't buy you a car? Just go work, save up your money, and go get the car yourself. Like, it is crazy, bro, because it's like she didn't have to pay no bills, she didn't have to do anything, but for some reason, she came crying to me about it like I was gonna do something about it. Well, but lo and behold, 2 weeks later, she's hitting up my phone again after I kind of just stopped talking to her, and she wants to hang out, and I was like, oh, yeah, maybe. And then I went to go hang out with a different girl who ended up being my girlfriend today. But you know what? My girlfriend today, she works 6 days a week, and she pays her bills, bro. She takes care of herself. Like, that's what I like, bro. That's what I like. I like a hustler girl, bro. I like a good girl who, isn't gonna cheat on me, isn't gonna be on shake that ass time. She just works, and she just keeps her head low, and she still has fun. We still go out and we still have fun and everything, but she has her mind in the right place. And a lot of you women out there, you don't have your mind in the right place. But fellas, this one's going out to you, because now it's time to talk to you. You should not have to put up with this sort of behavior. It is degenerate, and it is stupid, and it is slow, and I think that you deserve better. And all I've been doing is stating the obvious about these women, right? All I've been doing is saying about how you shouldn't go around them. Okay, well, now I'm gonna kind of suggest on how to find you a good girl, because you don't deserve that, bro. You deserve so much better. And honestly, first off, you need to delete the dating apps. Like, you need to delete Facebook dating, Tinder. I don't really know any other. I really have never had a dating app before, so I really don't know what they are, other than like those ones, which I know are like pretty mainstream. But it's gotta go, bro. It's gotta go. You can't do that, because these types of women, this archetype of women, those are the ones who sit on those dating apps. And then you need to go outside, bro. Like, you need to leave the chud chair, bro. Get up from your desk and your computer and go find them. But there's a lot of different places to find good women. You really don't have to go on these apps. You don't have to go on the gram. That's where you find the toxic ones who just want something, right? But when you go out, bro, and it could be anywhere, right? It could be at your job, which, dating a coworker, done it before, don't highly recommend that, but, they could be in a different department, and she could be, fine shit or something, you got this. You can meet her at church or something, which I actually did a video on people just going there to date, like, women, just find hot girls, which, don't do that, bro. But, like, like, if you go to church, bro, and then you just end up, getting into conversation with a girl that you end up liking a lot, like maybe ask her out, right? Because those are good women that have some good, moral compasses. I am gonna warn you now with church. I don't know, like that's a hit or miss with good women, right? There's some people who just go to church just to LARP and try to look like they're a good person when in reality it's just so that they can, get rid of some of the guilt of being evil. But those are just some examples of places, or maybe you just meet a girl at a social event, or maybe even like a bar or something. Just a hardworking woman who had a long day and she stopped by to get a beer. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But when you go out of your way to find these women on the social media or dating apps or whatever, like that's just a no-go, bro. These women want to be taken care of, like honestly, like I don't blame them fully, but I kind of do, because it's like a lot of men nowadays, like we work our butts off, bro. Like we work so hard at the corporate 9 to 5 where we're just getting Jewed out of our money and whatever. And we gotta come home to some bitch wife like this who just doesn't stop complaining and only wants money out of us. Like that is not fair, bro. That's not fair. We don't want that. And you honestly, you don't need to deal with that. You don't have to. Like honestly, you could just get you a fleshlight and just go to town. You're gonna have a way better time with that than talking to some fat, ugly hoe like that. And I feel like I've been a little graphic here. With I keep calling them hoes, right? This is being disrespectful. It's coming off misogynistic, maybe, but it's really not from that sort of place. It's just, I'm saying it as it is, bro. You wanna act like a hoe, now I'm gonna call you a hoe. Like I say things like service level how it is, like just straight up in your face. That's what it is. A lot of women are like, oh, well, men used to go to war. They used to work in the coal mines or whatever. Listen, bro, we have the luxury of not having to do that anymore, right? Like, that's not like the main source of income for most men anymore. Like, there's a ton of people who do work in that, and there's a lot of women who work in that as well. But, like, we have the luxury of not having to do that anymore. Like, a lot of these guys, I mean, what else was there to do for one, right? But when it comes to war, I just do want to point out that that argument is just stupid as shit. Because like a good like probably over 50% of the people who went to those major wars like World War II, Vietnam, Korea, or whatever, they were all drafted, bro. Like they didn't have the choice. They were just told that they have to or they'll go to jail. Like, you know what I mean? Like I still got respect for them for going and not chickening out, or really having to go through what they went through, and preserving our freedom. I've never had disrespect for soldiers. I have all my love to the military. Shout out you guys. But a lot of these guys, like, they were just kind of forced into it, so that argument is pretty weak. And they're like, oh well, men used to provide for women and now they're just all pieces of shit. What makes me a piece of shit? Because I don't want some fat lazy potato sitting in my house while I pay the bills and she does nothing. So that's just the whole point, is that you know they want something out of you, and yet they return nothing to you. So my entire conclusion with this video is that you need to quit wasting your time trying to impress women who could care less about you and do nothing for you. And you should really be focusing on yourself, bro. Like maybe just go outside, take a walk, read a book, listen to some music, watch a movie, start studying something new. Like there's so many different alternatives than entertaining these gold digging, want to shake ass, want to be stripper women. There's so much more to do with your life, and in the current state of the world right now, like it's honestly better off just being lonely. Like it really is. When it comes to the male loneliness thing, obviously that goes into coworkers, friends, family, all that different things. But like when it comes to romantic relationships, I don't blame a lot of men for just saying that they're done, bro. They don't want to deal with these women anymore because they never shut up. Like they don't shut up, and they just talk and talk and talk and do nothing but that. You know what I mean? Like make yourself useful, go work, get your own apartment, pay your bills, take care of the things you need, maybe even take care of yourself. Nobody wants a girl who walks around half naked, bro. No, I'm not gonna be Mr. Misogyny and tell you what you can and cannot wear, but I'm just telling you that's not for me, bro. And that's not for a lot of men. A lot of men, who take care of themselves and make sure that they're a good guy, they want a good girl in return for that. And you women who just want to act all badass, you want to be all bad and cool, right? You want a good man, right? But you're trying to be bad yourself, bro. And that's just what this comes down to. I just think that you guys need to be careful, bro, with these women, because it's just totally not worth it. And I think you're gonna save yourself a lot of headache and a lot of money and time and like resources just being alone until you find that good woman, bro. till you find that good girl. And when that time comes, who knows when it will be, but it will come. And I guarantee you, you'll know when that is too. You don't have to be trapped. You don't have to be trapped, just settling for anything, bro. Like, honestly, I see so many women talking about, talking to other women, telling them not to just settle for any man. Okay, well, now I'm saying the same thing, but to you guys. And that's pretty much all I had to say, because it's a pretty simple topic. And I think it's just something that people get lost in and they lose track and focus of. But, you'll be all right. I think, the moral of the story is just stay alone, bro. Just stay away from these types of women and, focus on yourself until you find a good girl who can reciprocate some good energy to you. And that's pretty much all for today. I'll see y'all later.